Mm,
And then I watched Critical Role and it was not good.
fair enough.
Hello,
I'm so far
everyone,
behind.
and welcome to our Saturday night D&D session where we follow the exploits of the Triboard branch of Acquisitions Incorporated, also known as the S-Team or Team Soteria. They're currently in Waterdeep, deeping it up, but for a more detailed explanation of what happened, or what has been happening, would anyone like to do a quick recap of last week's episode?
Last week, Freya almost died to mummy rot. We played a one-shot. We completed the one-shot, and I fell flat first.
Yeah, we got hired by Ariel to go and rescue her girlfriend. I got mummy rot, and then I got hit by a blight, which is like I failed my con save to not get mummy rot with a nat 1. Then I got blighted for like 40 something damage. And then you guys carried the rest of the final encounter.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah, you guys were hired by a essentially the D&D equivalent of Ariel, but yeah, so except her name was Lily,
And she did not sing.
and she did not sing, and rather she had a crush that sang, a bar named Sanger, and she wanted you guys to help her rescue Sanger, and you succeeded in doing so, fighting off the mage that had dealings with demons, one Hex Vand, and yeah, so you were successful. You got some scrolls and whatnot, I believe, and some potions and some money as well. But you met back up with Lily at the Yawning Portal, and she was willing to offer you the reward she promised, but you all refused, so that they could save up enough money for a spell that could restore Sanger, who unfortunately had her tongue cut out by Hexvand, in sort of a revenge scenario. Anyway, guys, once again, back at that familiar tavern, the Yawning Portal. For the purposes of the story and simplicity's sake, it is the next day, so you have taken a long rest. You're full up on HP, spell slots, recharged, refreshed, and you guys can decide what to do or what you want to do with the rest of the day. It's fairly early in the morning.
I'm going to play my spells, so y'all figured.
I mean, before we jump down the well, I need to go look at library.
Why do you have to remind me why you have to go to the library?
Find out like which dickhead thought, like I guess hiring the clans to beat up the Fae was a good idea.
Can you read them?
I mean, we've established I can't.
I thought. Wait, are you going to go talk to a librarian?
I mean, sure. No idea what a librarian is. I assume it's someone in a library.
Well, if you want to go do some research, I'm more than happy to help. You want to go?
I mean, yeah. We can go see if Villa's okay as well.
Sure.
After that magic flying bullshit you did with the book.
That's a good point.
Alright, so you guys, if that is what you want to do, you can make your way to the Font of Knowledge, the temple dedicated to Agma, the God of Knowledge, in sort of basement there, which is the domain of Denir, there is a massive library that it's well known all throughout the Sword Coast for having books on a number of subjects, and so you can begin to investigate that library if you so choose.
Yeah.
So Freya's going to the library. Rocket's going to go with Freya to figure out the flyy book thing and why the tribes are protecting the city, right?
Well, what I tried to say, and then I said go check on Vera, see if she's okay.
Check on
Vera?
Vera if she's okay. Okay, you're dropping for me.
Mm.
We could go
investigate.
investigate.
That's on my headset.
We could go investigate the necklace thing. I say we start at the library.
Is this better?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm using my actual headset now instead of my like earphones.
All right. So you guys head to the Font of Knowledge. So I'm looking at what it looks like, so I can describe it to you. Which, wow, it is literally 2 sentences. Cool. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So you approach the Font of Knowledge. It's located in the Castle Ward, just outside or very close to the marketplace of Waterdeep. And so you very easily gain access to the temples, as most of them are open to the public. And inside, you see a bunch of people with robes, carrying books, bespeckled, or not, yes, that's the correct term, I believe. Many of them with thick glasses, used for I get these terms mixed up all the time, but used to correct farsightedness, which I believe means you can see things far away but not close up.
Sure. Let's go
Yes,
with that.
that one, which just might be due to the amount of the amount of books they read on any given day. And so you see all these people, but most of them seem to be lost in thought or busy trying to get somewhere. And when I say busy, I mean they are not paying attention to you. They're moving at a leisurely pace. No one is really in a hurry, as it were.
I feel like it's all these like nerdish, bookish types, and then just Freya.
Freya, you just see a bunch of nerds, and you have an urge to just go up and punch one. But I mean, you try to restrain yourself.
Must be like almost 6 foot tall, muscular, elven woman, and all these just like nerds.
Is there a librarian working?
So you have not entered a library proper yet. You're sort of in the main hallway entryway for the temple. Beyond you see another set of grand set of double doors, not as thick, ornate as the entrance, but nevertheless leading into a sort of what looks like to be a sort of temple. There are wings off to the sides where you can see various rooms. There are also staircases leading up and down as well.
Are there banisters?
You don't see those.
Can we go in the big doors?
You don't see those right now. They're like spiral staircases.
I'll walk into the library proper.
right. You would need to go downstairs to do so.
Like, go downstairs to the library proper.
All right. So going downstairs, all roads lead to Rome. As such, all roads or all stairs that lead down lead to the library. There are multiple entrances. Each one is guarded by a priest, cleric, holy person, what have you, of Agma and or Denier, and they sort of regard your party as you approach. You can see that there is a you can see beyond them they're sort of at a desk, situated behind a desk, off to the side, and next to them there's a doorway that's open, and you can see into the doorway into that next room. It's impossibly vast, and you just see rows and rows and rows and rows of books of all sizes and shapes and colors, and what you can only assume to be different topics as well, and it stretches out pretty much as far as you can see.
I feel like Freya sees this, and her eyes just kind of like look into the middle distance and glaze over.
And there is a rather young individual, you think, at this desk, not even probably reaching the proper age for an adult, but they're the human female, and she is sort of like reading a book, or looks to be, because she is like, the desk has a sort of, you can't see what she's doing behind it with her hands, the way it's raised in the front, but she is like, you see her eyes, has glasses on, and she's reading, you see her eyes moving back and forth, and she's like, her expression is ever changing as she is reading, like it goes from like shock to joy to sorrow, and but she seems engrossed in whatever this book or whatever she is reading. She has failed to notice you.
And it's like a desk.
Yes.
I'll knock on the desk.
I was gonna say, does Freya like see all the books? Her eyes move over, and she turns around and tries to walk out.
No, it's kind of like look, like you kind of like glazes over. Like she's still there. Like we're gonna walk like back on this like little desk thing. I'm just gonna imagine the pupit, if that's the right word.
Like a pulpit?
Yeah. Yeah, like a pulpit. That kind of style is what I'm imagining.
And so, when you rap on the desk, she goes, "Bah!" And she is like shocked, and she falls back in her chair. But luckily, situated so close to the wall, the chair sort of just hits the back wall, and now it's sort of leaned against it. But when she's falling, she casts a spell with her hand, and Freya, I need to make a Constitution saving throw. As a bright light flares out.
Not a one.
Okay, so your eyes are briefly blinded, but you are not afflicted with the blinded condition. And so for a split second, you can't see anything due to bright light, but then you blink a couple times, and your eyes readjust, and you see this person.
Waves her hand like, bah, fucking wizards.
She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You just surprised me. I'm sorry." And she's like bowing her head, like she's apologizing profusely. We don't really get a lot of visitors to the Great Library these days, so I've taken to reading some of the books from there. I'm not supposed to. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. You're learning, so it's not that bad, surely. Normally tell people off for not learning. Anyway, I come looking for a book.
She says, "Well, you've come to the right place. The Great Library has a lot of books. In fact, some could say it had. Some think that it has, or state that it has the most number of books at any library in the Sword Coast.
I'm gonna assume Freya's at the desk. We're all like a half step behind Freya. Is that right?
That's how I imagine it. I feel like it's one of the biggest libraries. So the like it just glazes over again.
Evelyn will go help Freya out with the talking, if that's okay. Or does Freya feel like she has it?
And the Freya's fine with the talking. Just kind of like it's books. One of the few things Freya doesn't do.
Got it. Evelyn will approach and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry my companion frightened you. What is your name?"
Okay, I did not. She would say, wait, that's already used.
NPC_1.
No, she would.
I'm always gonna ask you for a name.
Okay. I usually prepare, but this was unexpected, so I'm rolling with the punches. Okay, she would say Quill.
Good name, says Joe. Good to meet you, Quill. I'm Evelyn the Swift. This is Freya. Freya. Well, Freya needs two things. One she might be a little frustrated on. Freya.
Well, I'd need to find some books like relating to the dickhead clan I used to be a part of.
So she doesn't know. She's like, so do you want to look for yourself, or do you want a librarian to bring it out for you?
A librarian would be best, dear.
Okay.
Yes, that.
What is the name of this clan?
I mean, Lineal are the dickheads who run the place. They used to do all like the diplomacy and that shit. She kind of waves her hand after diplomacy. And all of that like bollocks.
Okay.
But there's some treaty a few like I think 1,000 years ago between those dickheads and the guys who run Waterdeep at the time.
She says, well, I'm not familiar with the people known as the Lineal, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist, or we don't have any records or books about them. Lineal, and she takes out a sort of like a reference card. Says things if you have been to a library before. I know who goes to the library now in 2019. But anyway, they have these cards and books that like show who checked them out, and she's writing on one of those. And then you see her like do something behind the desk, and then you see a person come up, also heavily robed, but they're sort of cloaked, and you can't see, or hooded rather, and you can't see their facial features. And she passes this reference card through the doorway, and as she does so, you see like a shimmering, like it's like she's almost like she's putting dipping it into a lake is what it looks like, and it goes through, and the person takes it and moves and retreats back into the library proper.
I'm aghast, by the way. I use the library all the time. It's the best place. Go to libraries. They're awesome.
Great. Yeah. I started buying more books now as compared to going to libraries.
I love libraries. They are my favorite place.
Cool.
I didn't say they were bad. I'm just saying, you know, that
use your library.
The people number field that go to them has dropped significantly due to the rise of the internet.
Use your library.
Can I roll a Dewey Decimal check?
Thank you.
For what?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it was really funny and I appreciate it.
I was a whoosh then.
That's the problem.
Okay, is it called the Dewey system?
Some of us actually know. It is the Dewey Decimal System. Some of us actually know it.
Okay.
What's this?
It's how library books are cataloged.
Okay.
It's the Dewey Decimal System. Non-fiction books usually, not fiction. Fiction is usually done by like genre and author.
Okay, so you guys are
And the
waiting.
second thing,
She says,
Evelyn would say to Quinn would be like, also, do you have reading lessons?
well, we don't offer them down here, but in the Font of Knowledge, we hold classes. You might have seen some of the rooms in the adjacent hallways as you entered the main hall. In those, we hold reading classes for those who have come to Waterdeep and due to their situation or lack of funds or where they grew up, they were not offered a basic education. And so
Are those group settings or one-on-one?
they're generally group settings. It's more efficient that way.
Is there a way to arrange a private at-home visit?
If you donate to the temple, we can see about setting one of those up.
What I'm imagining for the group is a bunch of like
Okay.
3-year-olds and Freya, like in this like group learn to read session.
She
Huge,
says
like,
she's
sitting
sort of
down
looking
watching
over you,
tiny
and she
people.
sees Rex, and she doesn't know you because she's quite young, but she nods approvingly. You get that like feeling like she's like, oh, there's a learned gentleman right there. You get that
There's another
that
nerd.
nod from her. But she's looking over the group and she notices, like, now that she's sort of calmed down and everything, there are chairs for you here as well. But she's sort of looking at you all over and she sees Freya and she's just bulking at her state of dirtiness. And she says, you said your name was Freya, right?
Winterborn, yeah.
And okay, so, well, here at the Great Library, we take pride in the amount of books we have.
I'll cut her off. I'll cut her off and be like, I've tried once. It doesn't work. Just
I'm just
the
saying
fact that Freya's
that
in the library. I know.
we need to
I
protect
know.
the knowledge contained inside the Great Library. As such, your current soiled state, we can't allow you to handle books.
I'm not
Such as you
having
are.
another bloody bath. I've had 3 this fucking decade. That's like too many.
She is like, her jaw sort of drops to the floor as if it could, but yeah.
Evelyn's not saying anything. She warned her.
You can see like she is like immaculately clean. This woman, this young lady, and she's like, well, would you permit me to cast prestidigitation on you, just to like clean your arms and your hands, maybe your face.
I mean, one of these lot, I kind of gesture to the group behind me. He's probably going to be reading the book in front of me.
Hence reading lessons.
Oh, okay. As long as she doesn't directly handle the books, that is fine. And then there's sort of a awkward silence descends. She's like, I wonder what's taking the librarian so long. And then you sort of hear a and then I get a very raspy voice. And comes over this, you hear speaking, and says, we have no record of the group known as the Lineal.
Well, you got a pretty shit library then if you don't have any stuff about those dickheads.
What's Nine Lives doing?
Quill takes offense as he says, our library is the greatest in all the Sword Coast.
Well, you don't have anything about some dickheads who live like just over the other side of the city wall to you. You can't be that good.
So they're coming back with no information.
Yes.
Can I try to make a history check based on what I've learned about this, just in talking with Frey and being around this situation, and try to guide them towards like a period of time that maybe might have information. Like maybe they can't look up Lineal, but maybe they can look up a book on the time period that I've understood. Is that something I can do?
Make an intelligence. First of all, I'll give you this. Make an intelligence check. Okay. It's not a save, but it's good enough. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. You're good. So you know
Actually,
the Great
still don't know where
Library
it was.
has pretty much, if it's almost any book, scroll, tome, what have you, written word, known to sentient creatures, contained within it. It's the books it contains, number of books it contains is legendary. So the fact that it doesn't have any information on the lineal either means A, this is secret knowledge that's not readily open to the public, or B, if Frey is talking about this treaty specifically, it might be not public record. It might be something between the Lords of Waterdeep, the Masked / Open Lords, and a clan itself, and not something that the public would have knowledge of or should have knowledge of.
Okay.
Or it could be the fact that the lineal is a illegitimate clan operation to begin with, and they just set up outside of Waterdeep, calling themselves that because they want to kill a bunch of fey creatures. There are a lot of possibilities here, but if it was public knowledge that the public could have access to, or should have access to, or should know about, it would be located in the Great Library, and you would have access to it.
Okay. Yeah, specifically what I was trying to do is like if the keyword lineal didn't mean anything, so kind of to your second point, that maybe it was an illegitimate thing, maybe referencing the time frame would we could look at a book and see if there was anything related to, the Fae or any kind of pact with that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It
Has
might not
Freya
work,
ever
but
said when, or does Freya even know when the agreement started or took place?
Didn't Freya just say like 1,000 years ago, a minute ago?
She said like I think a few generations ago. She knows that there's no one alive. Well, I know there's no one alive. I guess Faye knows that signed the pact. No current living elf in the clan was alive when that pact was signed. So
Okay, so due to the age of elves and Freya's vague sort of answers, like she's trying to be helpful, but she doesn't know herself, so she can't
yeah,
use
no,
the
that's fine.
information. You don't know if you could narrow it down. You could say, oh, it happened because it happened a few thousand years ago. That doesn't really help because it's a giant time frame for them to search through.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of out of options.
I want to know what Nine Lives is doing.
There are no rays down here. It is very, well, there's no sort of, it's very cool down here. To be underground. It's not human at all, unlike outside of Waterdeep. You think, for those who actually like books and read books, you think this would in fact be a perfect place to store a large number of books due to the lack of moisture in the air, as well as the cool nature of it.
So I do have sort of a nostalgic thing with books, but I've just kind of scaled the tallest bookshelf I could find, and I'm loafing up there on the top.
So there are no bookshelves out here. There's like chairs for you guys to sit out. There's this desk that Quill is behind. And she's sitting on like a stool now that she has righted. There's no leaning
Is
against
Nine Lives like just sprawled across the desk?
But the door, as far as you know, is open. So
she's just sat on Quill's book.
That'll work.
But as you sort of try to hop up on the desk, You make for it, and you see another cat, an actual cat, jump up on there and curl around, and curl up, and just glare at you with one eye.
So I'm gonna stand to the side to try to look bigger.
It does not give two F's about you. It's asleep on the desk now.
I'm gonna bat at its tail.
All right. It waves it off, but the cat subtly shifts a little bit.
I'm gonna bat at it again, but harder this time.
All right. It is going to attack you. Wait, let me look. Is there a cat creature? Let me see.
I think within one of the new books.
There is.
I thought the cat say was
Okay, so he has. Okay, it's a +0 to hit. It'll hit you to 1 slashing damage. No. So it goes meow, and it like slashes at you, but you jump out of the way because you were expecting it to happen. And now it's stood up and is beginning to hiss at you.
Well, I'm gonna hiss back.
Only with a tabaxi.
And now I need a good name for a cat too. Let's introduce this creature. She'd say
Minerva.
I mean, I've just got this great name for cats named Onyx, but that's different. Felix.
McGonagall.
I mean, you could just pick any name for a cat. Luna. Shadow.
She would say
Artemis.
She would say, Scala, stop. Bad kitty. And it turns to look at her, and goes up, and she like it rubs its head and its body against her hand, and that seems to placate the cat. And it turns around and leaves the portion of the desk you can see, but jumps behind it, and you can hear it purring. It's sort of like rubbing up against. You would assume rubbing against Quill's legs.
So I'm just gonna hop up on the desk and kind of prostrate myself in a vie for dominance.
So the cat will be mad, but you see that Quill has kind of leaned down and is now giving the cat scritches, and so that seems to placate it for now. So it's not really paying much attention to you as it's getting petted.
I wish Caxter was here so she could just start drawing all of this.
And it even jumps up into her lap, and she's paying it now with her left hand. She's reading with her right. But she says, so is there another book you guys are looking for that I can help you find?
Try to think, like.
I'm good unless any of yous want a book.
I'm going to ask him for a book. Can I try to describe the type of magic that Vera was using? And like specifically using the word old magic? And I just want to gather a little bit more information on it.
Okay. So she seems to be following with you, but when you mention old magic, she like stands up, and in fact she stands up so quickly that Scala is frightened and jumps off and meow and runs away. And you don't know where she goes off to, but she has run away. She says, "Where did you hear that? Who told you about it?"
I read a lot of books.
She's like squinting at you to like determine to learn more, but your visage is your poker game is real. she says, but she sighs dejectedly and sits back down and says, "Such things are not open to the public. So you would not find. So while I cannot say one way or another if the Great Library does in fact contain books or tomes concerning that subject, they would be, if we did, they would be unavailable to the general public."
Sounds like a whole bunch of shit's not available in this fucking movie of yours.
Insight check.
That's a great idea.
You
No
can't
idea.
tell. You're this late teen girl or mid to late teen girl is very squirrely, and you can't quite pin down what she's saying. Maybe it's her accent.
Can I flash my Order of the Watchful Mages badge and be like, would this help me gain access to any of this type of stuff? I've been working in this city for a long time.
So she seems unimpressed by that. She says, we get requests from the Watchful Order Mages and Protectors all the time. But while our mission is to inform and provide knowledge and learning to the people, we also recognize that knowledge is power and that we should guard it well. And there are certain things that people shouldn't know.
You don't happen to have anything on greatsword, do you?
Great swords? I'm sorry.
Like training, because I've got this new fancy sword, and it's kind of like
that was the DM speaking, not Quill.
Shrug my.
She says, "We do have books concerning martial weaponry, great swords included. Are you getting like training manuals or like?"
Yeah, like training manuals. I haven't used a greatsword in probably a few hundred years, isn't it? Like probably 100 and some years. I chose the big fucking axe personally. But all that knowledge is back there somewhere. It's kind of like wrap on my head. I just need to dredge it back up.
Okay, well, yeah, we can definitely find a training manual for great swords. Although there are schools here that teach that. They might practice. And I'm not familiar with such weaponry, but from what I've heard or read, practical training or experience is generally better than the written word, as much as I am ashamed to admit.
Oh no, definitely. I did a bit of practical stuff with the greatsword, but I just prefer the axe. Got a lot more versatility to it. Especially when you're on campaign, you use it to cut down trees. You can't do that with a fucking sword.
And so she once again takes out a reference card and writes on it, passes it through the door frame. You see that shimmering effect again. And soon after, about another 5 minutes, you see a robed and hooded acolyte bring back just a stack of books. Like he is wobbling, like unsteadily, but he catches himself. He rights himself and walks towards the doorway, and Quill accepts them, also struggling, and begins to place them behind her desk, and she lays them out for you on the sort of upper part that you can see, and says, well, there's a number of books concerning bladed weapons, great swords in particular, that we have, written by various so-called experts in the field.
That fit you say underfitting. Christ.
I say so-called because I don't know any of these individuals Also, that might be due to the fact that I don't use such weapons, so I don't know if they're supposed to be famous or not. Anyway, once you have cleaned your hands and arms, feel free to check some of these books out if you wish. You can take up to 3 at a time with you. But be warned, if a book is damaged in any way, we will subtract the cost. We will demand the cost of the book and compensation.
Let's kind of look over to Evelyn. It's like
I was really hoping they bought Freya picture books.
You haven't opened them, so you don't know.
They're like
She will
pop-ups.
prevent Freya from. If she tries to reach out, she'll prevent you. She'll slap your hand away. But
I'll like pull out like my the tail of like my, I say shirt, more like the piece of clothing on my upper body. Just pull the tail out, just like rub my hands on the tail of this shirt.
that does not placate her. She will continue to slap your hands away if you try.
I use thaumaturgy to open the books.
Okay, so you see there's like a foreword, a preface, a table of content, and you do see paragraphs of text, but there's also pictures to go with them.
We're gonna use thaumaturgy so I don't have to touch the book, so Freya can feel like she's doing something. And just figure out where we need to go in the book.
Yeah, so technically this will be more like Mage Hand, but I'm gonna allow it just for the purpose of RP.
Yeah. Like
I don't
how
have
many?
Mage Hand.
That's
So.
why I said I'm allowing it.
Like how many of these are written by like Sir blah 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 the 14th or whatever?
Well, Frey doesn't know, so.
It's like how many of these are written by people who sound like they're posh dickheads?
Well, there's one by someone called. I'm not gonna remember any of these names because I'm making them on the spot. So there will not be any future tie-in. So don't try. Just warn you beforehand.
You've brought us to a library. We will come back at some point.
So you see one by like Craig Moore, the sword expert or sword master. Sorry, it'd be Craig Moore, the Blade Master is one. You see one by Sir Arthur Pendragon.
Is there just a one that's like an idiot's guide to great axes
Swords.
or great swords?
Freya is the idiot's guide to great axes.
You don't see anything like that
nothing
until
else
at the
in the books or
very
anything
end.
like that?
You see like this very thin book. It's more of a pamphlet, really, and it's like you think it's worded differently, but it's like a beginner's guide to bladed weapons, types, stances, swings, and more.
It's like, is it disregard anyone who says they're a master of this weapon or they sound like some noble dickhead? I just want like
It's
Johnny Q.
It's written by. It's like a. You don't recognize the name, but it's like Bolek, Bolek the Fierce is what it says. Written by Bolek the Fierce.
I want books from people who've been on campaign with bloody great swords, not dickheads who spent 20 years practicing beating up their mates with them. They don't know jack shit about weaponry.
Well, I would love to help you in that regard. Unfortunately, none of these authors are familiar to me. Now, if you were interested in books pertaining to the arcane arts or general knowledge, I might know some of those authors, as those are more areas of my interest. Unfortunately, I don't recognize any of these individuals' names.
Is like the last book a pamphlet?
Yeah, it's like
Or is it like a book? Like
it's really it's more of a
would
pamphlet.
Quill be offended if Freya picked it up?
Probably yes, because Just
Evelyn,
make a religion check.
Oh,
Oh man,
I'm
you
bad at
don't know.
religion.
Oh,
I'll just pick it up anyway, just because. Is it like an idiot's guide to? What does it say?
It says a beginner's guide to bladed weapons, and the subtext, or like after the colon, it says types, swings, stances, and more.
I find the part where it talks about great swords.
All right. So it's basically like very like basic information. It's like the greatsword, which to Wikipedia. It says the greatsword, or claymore, are large swords that are generally too heavy to be wielded one-handed and possessing. It's like all basic
Obvious.
stuff. And then it says, generally speaking, you utilize momentum and the weight of the weapon to strike rather than swing it. So it's like saying you basically use gravity and momentum and stuff to help you.
Freya.
So the way how you grip the weapon and where you're starting strikes are important. Unless you possess, it says, extraordinary strength, then you can sort of forego the advice contained in this book.
Freya has extraordinary strength.
I've got 18.
Freya, all you have to do is swing the sword.
So
None of these books are helpful.
I'll just keep
just
doing what
swing
I've been doing then. Just top of the head.
Yeah.
Bring it
Yep,
down.
use gravity. And maybe change your hand positioning.
It's been like this fine. I've been on campaign just doing this.
Is it working?
It's worked so far. I fucking annihilated that. What is it? That zombie thing.
Then keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's what this book says.
Yeah, close enough. Probably learned most of that as a kid anyway.
But it does mention a number of guards in here as well. Outside guard. Sorry. This is actually, I wrote this down a long time ago for a different character, and I'm rereading it. But it's
Does
like
Freya's
outside
have
guard,
a guard on
forward guard, back guard.
No, like blocking. I
Mouth
assume.
guard?
When it says guard, it's generally the starting position of the sword before you take a swing. It's like where you hold the sword at rest.
Oh, then are there pictures?
Yes.
Be like, Freya, look, different ways to hold your sword.
Yeah.
And you see middle, high, low, horizontal, and outside.
Evelyn wants to know if there are any books on like the nobility of Waterdeep, like the families.
There are some. There are numerous books. There's one just simply like a register, like names of noble families. But there's also ones like each individual family has like its own, like history book essentially.
Evelyn's looking for the Ophrys.
Omphres. Well, yes, we can. She once again, they get a book. It's a pretty thick volume that they bring over to you. She says, please take care of it and be mindful that knowledge contained within is knowledge that's generally considered open to the public. So if they might, it's not everything about the Omphres is not contained within this book. Essentially, what she's saying.
Of course it isn't, Evelyn says. People's stories are always being written. I just like to learn about nobility in the city. Just to know if I run into someone, I know who I'm dealing with.
Like you said, ask if I have any questions about magic and stuff.
Evelyn like takes the book and just finds a chair and starts reading.
Like I've somehow developed, I guess, magical powers. Wondering if you knew anything about that.
Okay, so 1 second. So when you're reading about the phrase, you see that the current head, or rather only member of the phrase right now, is a lady known as Jashir Phrase, who's a human. More specifically, her ethnicity is Tethrian, but they're a very old family, and it says that they are not particularly notable. Like they haven't done anything major in the last few centuries.
Do they have any like properties or businesses or in the city or anything like that?
They do have an estate
Like in the field ward?
in the North Ward. There's no mention of anything about the Field Ward.
They don't aren't in charge of any shops, anything like that?
Doesn't say. Nope.
Anything else of interest or notice?
Not particularly to you. They just seem to be a very run-of-the-mill, such as a noble family. Like it details how they became.
Does it say how if this person had a spouse or how the parents died or anything like that?
It says her husband died mysteriously a few years ago, and she's been a widow ever since. Cause of death was unknown.
Okay. Is there anything about Evelyn's family?
There probably wouldn't be. Because your family itself is not noble. You became a noble due to you becoming a knight.
Was there anything about the Temple of Lathander in wherever I'm from, off the top of my head?
Well, you from Daggerford.
That would be right. I couldn't remember.
And it says just general information about Daggerford. It's like the book you get says stuff like the current ruler of Daggerford's Duchess, Lady Duchess Morwyn Daggerford. You do see that the Temple of Lathander is called the Morning Glow Tower.
I would know that.
1 second. And that it's very close to the Ducal Castle, which is where the nobility, Lady Morwyn, lives. And Lathander is sort of like their go-to god in Daggerford due to its close proximity to the castle. There are a number of other temples in Daggerford, most notably Chantea,
I imagine
Tempest,
Evelyn
and
doesn't really
Tymora.
talk to her family very often. So I think it's looking in this book as trying a way to figure out what's if our parents are still alive, if they're still at the temple, that kind of thing.
It doesn't mention the priests who run the tower, but it does say something that you didn't know. Your parents never talked about it, but it does say that a holy text of Lathander is kept at Daggerford, and it's due to the nature of the text. It's sort of a pilgrimage site for those devoted to Lathander. It's like it's holy sites essentially, due to the holy text located inside the Morning Glow Tower. Spires of the Morning is also another spot for pilgrims. I can't speak tonight. As another like holy site as well.
Okay, I'm done. Someone else can talk.
So this whole time, Rex has been just thinking about why this little girl has more knowledge than he does about this old magic. I want to ask her one thing. I want to say, why would they trust? Like, I'm just asking for a history book on it, but like, why would you guys know about this and not somebody who has studied essentially deities of magic and been a part of the Mages Order here?
So
I'm trying to get a read on
make
like,
an insight
what,
check.
Yeah.
Guidance.
Insight. It's not great. Fuck.
Roll your d4.
Oh, I can do that. Hang on 1 second.
Looking for a 13 or higher.
Ah!
Okay. You don't pull anything off this young lady.
Okay. Rex is troubled.
Okay,
9 lives is asleep.
Freya, there was something you were talking about, right?
Yeah, she's kind of asking, like, basically, as someone who develops, I guess, magical powers, I hit shit and it dies more. Do you have anything about that?
So she's looking you over. She says, "Well, you don't look like your standard paladin or cleric, but who am I to say if someone is a certain of a divine power?"
No, I'm not one of those, like, paladins or anything. I just hit stuff and then magic happens and it dies more. Like, the life gets sucked out of it.
Are you familiar with how paladins work? That's generally what they do.
Faye, like, just has this blank expression on her.
They hit things and they're and there's a flash of light and they die more.
No, I'm not. None of that happens. I just hit it and then the life just gets kind of like out of it.
Well, maybe due to
Paladins have gods and stuff. I don't have a god. I just hit stuff and hopefully ask the gods that I don't die when I try and hit stuff.
See, you say you don't have a god, but then you mention God in the same sentence.
Well, it's like the clan I used to be a part of. We weren't overly religious, but it was generally good practice to like say to any god you particularly fancy, "Don't let me die."
Do you know the names of any of these gods?
No, it was just generally like catch-all. I generally didn't do it. I generally just like believed in my own skill and the skill of those around me.
Someone from the Seldarin? Maybe? Seldarine? Sorry, Seldarine. Someone from the Seldarine, maybe? Any of these names? Corellin? Ring any bells?
Nope.
I would know who that is, right?
Yeah. Corellin is
I
like...
would know who that is.
Corellin is like the god of the elves. He's the one that made them. You don't even need to do a religion check. He's like the head of the elven pantheon. The Seldarine. Or Seldarine.
Has Aveline seen the god thing with Freya or like anything when Freya's attacking or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. The only time all of you guys saw it was when, I believe, is when she was saved from the beheading. But you weren't there. You weren't present.
I was doing necrotic damage and all that stuff with in the last battle.
She says, man, these names. Sahanine Moonbow? Any bells?
No.
Aeroleth? Athernil?
No. It's funny because
Ardri Faina?
Again, shake head.
What is she trying to figure out? The deity that she
Yeah,
contacted?
she's just listing gods from the Elven pantheon.
Pantheon. It's funny because Freya doesn't know the name of the god, but it's
Well, we were there, right? And we saw her.
Yes, you were there. The gods literally said her name out loud, and all of you heard it.
God damn it.
Except for me, and I don't know it.
Can I
Everyone
get
but
check, 'cause
Freya.
Tim doesn't remember, but Rex might.
I have it written down.
Vandria Gilmadrith.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It's Vandria Gilmadrith.
Oh! Would you like a book concerning her?
I mean, sure. Freya just kind of shrugs.
And so
I don't know, this just kind of happened.
there's a book presented to you about the Elvish pantheon, Seldarin, and it lists all of them, but each of them have like their own chapter. It's all written in Elvish, but that doesn't mean much to you because you can't read. But there's, in fact, she points to the page that it's located on. But she's holding the book away from you because, once again, you have not cleaned yourself properly to her standards. So she's just pointing to the page.
Freya is just looking at it. Like her eyes are in the middle of the page. They're not moving. They're clearly not taking in any information. They're just kind of like... It's like someone who's looking at something, making it seem like they're interested.
You do see a symbol, and it's the same one that's on Irothil. That's sort of right above the small guard of the weapon.
It's like...
Or actually, rather, non-existent guard, where the blade meets the bone grip.
The pommel. Not the pommel.
Not the pommel. It's like where a blacksmith would put their mark on the blade is where this is located. So it's like very close to the grip of the weapon, but like where the blade just starts.
Has to like grab it off of her shoulder, hold it up at arm's length, compare them next to each other.
It's a weeping eye.
I guess they are the same symbol. She's holding this great sword up.
Evelyn can't read that book.
Yeah, Rex can't either.
No one knows Elvish.
But
Elvish is so boring. Why would we know Elvish?
I mean, it's only one of the major languages in D&D, but you know.
You have an elf, it's fine.
I would like...
Logic.
You have an elf, but they can't read.
Yeah, I also know
person
goblins.
Who would know it. Can I cast... is casting spells okay here? For the purposes of like reading?
Yeah. It looks like when you
we're
when you guys cast guidance before, she didn't seem to mind.
Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure. So we're hanging out for a little while, right? So I'll just cast it ritually to preserve a spell slot.
Well, Freya is staring.
Yeah.
She stood for a bit and just kind of like grabbed her greatsword up. I imagine she's holding it with like one hand. She's got like her finger.
Yeah, like squinting a bit, like holding it up to the book, and like
she's got her thumb out, like just like it goes like underneath the one on the sword, and underneath the one on the book, sword again, book again. I guess they are the same.
So basically, once you cast a spell, she will let you handle the book, Rex, but is keeping an eye on Freya. And there are a number of things you learn about Vandria. Most notably that she has dark elven heritage, but somehow managed to stay within the Seldarin, which is strange, because generally speaking they would go to a drow or person with drow heritage would follow Lolth into the dark Seldarin.
Okay. Yeah, as I'm reading it, I'm kind of reading it out loud to Freya and anybody else who's listening.
When she, in her youth, she was like most elves, but due to lost betrayal, which so racked the elvish pantheon, she changed drastically. And she sort of turned into this elvish deity of war and grief and vigilance instead. So she's very martial based. Her other titles are Lady of Grief and Steelheart. And she is one of 3 children of Corellin Litharian, the sort of leader of the Elvish pantheon, and Loth. So Loth was in fact her mother. Before she was known as Loth, her name was Arashni. I'll just link you this. This will be easier. Because I'm essentially reading from this page. But basically, her mom was like... her father was essentially the leader of the Elvish pantheon, and her mother was Loth. After Loth betrayed Corellin, she sort of... her personality changed. She became more... no longer carefree and happy-go-lucky individual, became sort of like a grim, dark figure. And she oversees like war and things to go with it. It does mention that while she is proficient in battle and while she oversees war, she generally tries to prevent it.
Okay.
And she's like a guardian figure of elves.
Fair enough.
Is there, Quill will say, is there anything else? Any other books I can help you guys find?
I don't think so. Do you just have like? Would Rex? I guess would Rex ask for like generic spell books or something?
I would know if they were here, right? Do they have just regular old spell books here for people to take spells out of if they can?
That would be a paid service.
Yeah. I kind of didn't ask because I kind of expected that. It's a good question, though.
You don't know until you ask.
I just think he would have already known that. That's all. But yeah.
Joanna was pondering.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it.
Yep. Rex is still pissed about this old magic shit. He's got some questions for Vera.
I've never heard of old magic, so.
Yeah, if we're done, we should probably go and check if Vera's okay.
Okay.
After that weird rock thing she did.
How about we leave her a note?
I mean, if she's busy, we can just leave her a note. But like, if not, it's not gonna be. Go just pop in and say hi.
You guys can always go to the House of Wonder and see and talk to Vera, or you can send her a letter. If Caxter was here, you could just talk to her directly due to her,
Magic rock.
yeah, or amulet.
Magic rock. Because I have a book I hidden.
It's up to you guys what you want to do. It's only about let's say 11 a.m. now. As you sort of step out back into the sun and the humidity of the summer of Waterdeep, or Waterdeep in the summer. The sun's not quite at its highest point in the sky, but it's getting pretty close.
So we'll head over, try and find beer.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys head over to. Sorry, I'm reading things. Because I'm not quite caught up on D&D lore. Okay. Okay, so got it. So you guys head back to the House of Wonder. When asking for Vera, you are once again directed to a outside of the temple, rather, or in a sort of back area, where there's a sort of nicely well-maintained sort of lawn, and you see students are practicing magic outside, and she's overseeing it. They're all very young children, coming up to about maybe for 6 feet tall individuals, probably about your waist. Ages, no one in their teens, somewhere around just a double-digit mark in age. But it looks like they're practicing cantrips.
Anything interesting?
Well, Rex would recognize they're practicing the prestidigitation cantrip.
Okay. Which he does not know.
Yeah. So you see like there's candles set up in a line, and students are like, some of them are concentrating on them, and they're like trying. It looks like one of them has finally lit it without touching it, and he's very excited, and he jumps up and down, and Vera congratulates him. Another one, there's like a
Can
set up. There's like a bunch of clothes. They're set up like in a clothesline, and they're dirty. And students are trying to they're like waving their hands over the dirty parts, trying to make something happen.
Evelyn wants to use like a little bit of thaumaturgy, from a distance, obviously, for when the kid like lights the candle to make the frame get bigger.
To make the flame bigger?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Make it green. Green flame.
I can't make it green.
Really?
All right, so
Oh, I could just make it green flame.
so what do you do to it?
No, I can cause flames to flicker, brighten, or dim, or change the color. So I make the flame a little bigger and change the color to green.
Okay, so the kid seems astonished by this. Like, it's very clearly he did not expect this. The next one that succeeds, and he sort of is like astonished by his own magical power. But Vera is congratulating him. But you see her looking at you from the side of like in her periphery though. It's obvious that she has caught you casting this spell or altering.
That's fine. I
the
just
kid.
wanted to make the kid happy.
And she sort of checks on all the kids once again to make sure they're not blowing themselves up with magic, but then walks forward to sort of greet you guys. She will greet most of you with a hug, except 9 more lives, which she will sort of like, she will not touch, but she will give you like a curtsy. 9 more lives.
That's better.
She said, well, I didn't expect to see you guys so soon. Are you? And then and then she like gets in real close and she's like, as she hugs you, like, are you back from the Undermountain already?
We haven't been yet.
Oh, well, that explains a lot of things then.
Yeah. Did nearly die though.
Oh,
Yeah. Weird mummy magic shit. And some dickhead wizard.
oh, so are you talking about a curse?
I don't know, mummy hit me, I didn't feel that
You
well.
don't seem
Then
to
some,
be under.
It was a curse.
Okay. Well,
then some wizard did some magic on me.
that seems to have cleared right up. Anyway, what brings you here today?
I'll just
Freya was concerned about you.
Yeah, I just came to check if you're okay after that weird stuff.
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, a little bit of rest made me right as rain. I generally don't sleep like that, being a high elf, but sometimes it is good to just not dream and just sleep.
Is she fine? Do I really believe that?
Yeah, I was gonna
An
ask
insight
that.
check.
Yeah.
Oh, look, rolling is back.
She has. You didn't notice it because she's hiding it very well. 17 and 24 will see this. She's hiding it very well. Maybe they're due to magic or makeup, but you can still see like there's rings under her eyes, and she's walking. Her gait is not what it used to be. She's like very clearly you can see she's very exhausted still. But she's trying her best to hide it.
I'm not going to blow her cover in front of the kids.
I just came to
Go ahead.
I just came to check if you're okay now.
She
After
says,
all that.
"Yeah, that'll. Yeah, that whole. I got it. That's the last time I tried to break through Hallister's anti-divination magic. It's not something I want to experience again."
Do I know if I cast a restoration spell on her, if it would make a difference?
Arcana check.
Arcana check.
Yeah, 'cause this is magic-y stuff.
Restoring is healthy stuff.
I know, but this is different. You don't know.
Well, I don't know Arcana. That's how it works.
She says, "Well, would you be interested in auditing the class, staying to watch, participate even? I'm sure the kids would love it. Rex, in particular, such an
Would
accomplished
totally love
mage
to learn
yourself.
I'll stick around.
Evelyn, I'm sure while divination, or no, sorry, while divine magic is not something that this class is studying, rather the arcane, it is always useful to expand your mindset, your horizons, and learn new things. Who knows, some may choose to follow the path of the cleric.
I'm always down to learn something new.
Well, we're studying cantrips today. I'm sure most of you know prestidigitation in particular. So I have them just experimenting, trying out the various aspects of that cantrip, trying to cause the effects of the cantrip. Some are, as you can see, some are more successful than others. But in time, they all possess some magical ability, so in time they should all be able to learn this spell. And she says, okay. Sorry, I hate dead air, so if she says, if you just follow me, I'll introduce you all to the kids.
Yeah. I'll follow it. Yeah. Good.
And then you get, in your mind, Freya, you get a message. And she says, Freya, while I'm not one to ask anyone to change their behavior for someone else, rather it should be something they instigate themselves, I would please refrain from any coarse language in the presence of these children, as they are at a very impressionable age. And I would hate for them to go back to their parents and using some of the language you were so fond of.
Yeah, no problem.
At this
Some
point,
people.
I'm gonna do one of the really appropriate, like, self-grooming things that cats do at the worst time.
You just hawk up a hairball.
Just like leg up,
It's like
like
licking
Oh, licking yourself. Well, you have clothes on, so you have pants on, right?
yeah, but it still looks funny.
Okay. So Vera's like, well, haven't seen that before.
You get used to it.
Well, I just know some tabaxi. I've never seen them self-groom like that in public, or in that place in particular. Anyway, kids, gather around. These are my good friends and co-workers, Freya Winterborn, Waltherius Rex, 9 More Lives, and Evelyn. They'll be
Excellent.
joining us for our class today. So please treat them with the same respect that you would treat me. They are quite accomplished individuals, and I'm sure they have much to teach you, and there's much from them you could learn. Some of them have even already mastered the prestidigitation spell, and even first and second level spells. And they're all like, ooh, when she says first and second level, like that's so beyond their current capabilities. They're in awe, and they're looking at you with like sparkling eyes.
Who knows prestidigitation?
Not any of us.
I thought one of you did.
Nope.
Nope.
That's what we want to learn.
Oh, well, she assumed you guys did because one of you was a wizard, and so she just assumed you had that spell, I guess.
Nope.
We are not opposed to learning prestidigitation, though. At least Evelyn isn't.
Okay.
If she even can.
Well, unfortunately, you can't.
Boo.
But she's going over, like, once again, maybe for your benefit as well, as she's seen your faces when she mentions that you guys know prestidigitation. You're like, your face is darkened for a little bit. And she's like, oh, okay, well, let's just once again go over the basics of prestidigitation for those who may have misheard me the first time or weren't paying attention. I mean, it's a beautiful day outside, so you might have been enraptured by nature's beauty. But anyway, Prestidigitation is a very basic spell that most arcane magic users can utilize, so much so that it is usually classified as a cantrip. It is a very multi-purpose spell, and it can accomplish a number of things. Most notably, you can you can trick people's senses or even cause things to appear or happen magically. For instance, and then she sort of like rubs her finger and her thumb together, and when she does it, you hear the sound of a violin playing.
The tiniest violin.
Yeah. Or, and then she snaps her fingers, and all the candles laid out on the table are lit, and she snaps it again, and they're all snuffed out. Or you can clean or soil an object, and then she goes up to the stained clothing, and as she touches each one, you can see it returns to like a white or beige color rather than the dark muddy brown it was before. You can even change the temperature of an object or how it tastes, and you see her produce a cup and a teapot and pour what looks like for most of you tea into it, and then she hands it to you, Aveline.
I'm sorry. What is happening? I was talking to Mom.
Oh, she has produced a cup and a teapot, and she has poured tea into the cup and hands it to you. You very clearly see what she's pouring looks like tea. It's like a light brown liquid, and there's steam rising up from it.
Are we done learning prestidigitation?
No, she's still in the process of teaching.
Okay, but I will take it. I was just very I was like, I can't learn this, so I was
She's more explaining it for your benefit at this point than the children's, because she's already told them this.
Freya's here, like.
okay.
But when you drink it, it doesn't taste like tea, and it's not hot. In fact, it tastes like a very refreshing, cold fruit beverage, orange juice.
Ooh, orange.
Ah, yes, fruit beverage, my favorite drink.
Like a cold brew
yeah,
tea?
it's not tea. For all intents and purposes, it looks like tea. It smells like tea, but when you taste it, it's very cold, and it tastes like orange juice or lemonade.
One of the two.
I mean, whatever you prefer. It's essentially a fruit drink. It's not tea, as far as you can tell.
Mildly perplexed by I'm mildly perplexed by that, but also not like totally perplexed because I know that I can change things, make things different colors.
Their brand fruit drink.
She says, you can even manifest your magic into a small physical object. And she closes her left hand and makes a fist with it. And when she opens it, you see a very small figurine there. It's like it looks like a metal animal. Let's go with what would she like? It would be a deer.
I was gonna say an elephant.
That did make sense with it.
She says, so yeah, like I said, there's a number of uses for prestidigitation. It's a very multi-use spell, and the only limits are basically your own creativity.
Did she take the dirt off Freya?
No.
She has not, because
I feel like she was really tempted to.
She always is, but she has been constantly admonished by her superior officer, Soren, or her superior in the team path, Soren, who has reminded her two things in particular: not to hug people without their permission, and not to cast spells on people without their permission as well. So she generally refrains herself from that. Which is why she has hugged most of you because you have given her permission, but she has not hugged 9 more lives. You do notice that her clothing is still clean, even when she hugged you, Freya.
Yeah.
Because rather than cast precipitation on you, she cast it on herself to get rid of the dirt. Anyway, those are the basics of precipitation. Similar to precipitation, there is a spell that clerics can learn, sort of like the divine version of precipitation. This is called thaumaturgy. She says, Evelyn, would you like to give us a demonstration of thaumaturgy?
Oh, yes. You hear. Are we inside or outside?
You are outside.
Are we near a building?
Yeah, so imagine this is like a courtyard or lawn of the temple. So you are so you're like in a sort of a square patch of greenery, but you're surrounded on all sides by walls, essentially of the building.
There's a word
Are
for it,
there-
I can't remember.
Are there windows? Is there a door?
They are. You can see windows and you can see doors.
I use thaumaturgy to open the window shutters.
And when they see them sort of open, they all go, ooh.
I
And they're looking at you
change-
expectantly.
I change various eye color. Or I'm sorry, I change my eye color.
Yeah.
Not various. I create the sound of like bells from thin air. I have one of the kids light the candle, and then I make that flame green again. Oh, and I'm doing this very loudly. Like when Vera starts teaching again, she'll have a louder voice.
Okay. Well, yeah. So they are wrapped, and they are closely observing everything you do. And every time you do something new with thaumaturgy, there's like oohs and ahs and gasps of astonishment. At the end, they clap for you.
And then, to finish it off, I do I make the ground shake a little with the flames to flicker on the candle, and I make the windows shut at the same time.
Okay. So.
Which I can do.
Yeah, I know. The tremors seem to frighten some of the kids. Like they're looking around concerned.
They're under the candle.
Okay. So the table and the candle begin to shake a little bit. Then. And so at the end they clap for you. And she looks at the rest of the S teams. Is there any other cantrip that you guys would like to demonstrate today for the children?
Yeah, I'm gonna make the image. I'm gonna use minor illusion and make the exact image of Vera, but standing behind all the students, just like looking at them. Be like, did you know you had 2 teachers today? And kind of wave my hand to her.
So they sort of crowd around the second image of Vera. They're like, wow. And they're looking at it. But as soon as one of them touches it, it sort of like shimmer. It's sort of like their hand goes through it and it sort of like it sort of does like that staticky thing. So they can obviously tell it's an illusion, but they're amazed by the fact that you could make this image to begin with. They're like, ooh. And the fact that it's sort of like statically and shimmers when they put their hands through it seems to sort of amuse them, and they're like just poking at it and it's doing that, and they're like laughing.
My cantrips are not for teaching children right now.
They're for purging the unholy.
Well, no, I probably should teach them how to toll the dead, or spare the dying. We don't know if they're going to be adventurers, so it's not.
Yeah. Better dying is always useful shit.
And guidance would almost be cheating on a test.
Yeah. I feel like all tests are like standardized writing tests are performed in an anti-magic zone.
Just a little added flavor when they look back. I've been using Mage Hand to pour a cup of tea and drink from it without touching it.
Yeah. To you, this is tea. Very clear, and it's very warm too.
Cool.
They see this and they're like, "Wow, you know, Mage Hand too. We don't learn that one yet."
With my mage hand, I want to knock over the glass that he's working.
So yours is invisible due to you being an arcane trickster. So there's only one glass, but he's currently drinking out of it.
You do the thing where you hold the bottom and stop them bringing it down, so they have to chug the glass.
So normally I would give you a sleight of hand check to determine if you could take it from him, but he's literally holding it in his hand. It's right in front of his face. So, and your mage hand can only exert 10 pounds of pressure, so it's not going to take it from him.
But I said I was doing it with my Mage Hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
they
true.
would
So
mitigate each other.
literally you would negate each other.
It's like you just got this cup stuck to your lips.
It's just
you have to
literally
drink
floating
all
in
of
the
it.
air now. It's not moving. And then they're like, oh, you know, they look at you, 9 more lives, and they say, you know, animate objects. Miss Bears only showed us that spell once. And now you have a bunch of kids crying around you, 9 more lives. They're like, again, do it again. Make all the candles float.
Does 9 more lives seem overwhelmed?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it's going to take too long. Never mind. How long
Due to the invisible nature of your mage hand, they seem to have mistaken it for the spell animate objects.
I was gonna cast silence as a ritual around the children, but it's gonna take too long.
Wow. Hush, children.
Yeah, but she says, well, children, 9 more lives is not really a people person, so she does need her space. And they sort of seem dejected. They go, "Aww," and she gives you a wink. 9 more lives.
I'll just flick my tail at her in appreciation, but from afar.
But she says, yes, cantrips are various in nature, and they can do many things. They can improve your quality of life, like prestidigitation. They can cause minor magical effects, like minor illusion or thaumaturgy. They can even help you be better at certain things. They can fix broken objects. They can let you, like Rex and 9 more lives demonstrated, that you can manipulate objects from a distance. You can even use them to help people who are suffering, and also as a means of self-defense. Cantrips that deal in self-defense. We will learn a few basic cantrips that deal in self-defense, but that will be some time from now. And their eyes seem to light up at that, and they sort of start running around, going like playing how you would play Cowboys and Indians. They're playing like Mage versus Warlock or something, and they're like, or Wizard versus Warlock, and they're like Fireball, and then everyone's like Counter Spell, and then
Magic Missile.
Yeah, and everyone's like Magic Missile, and everyone's like Shield.
Lightning Bolt.
There's a lightning bolt thrown in there.
So
too.
these kids are just doing LARP,
Yeah.
but they're all playing wizards.
Well, yeah, it's like their versions of, I don't know if you have in the UK, but like in America we have like cops versus robbers or cowboys versus Indians. It's like that, but like the D&D fantasy equivalent. So in our terms, it will be LARPing, but for them it's different.
Wizards versus barbarian.
Yeah.
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 It's like, now children, there'll be time for playing later. This is still, class is still in session. They sort of settle down when she says that and says, well, that's all we have for today. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Let's all break for lunch. And the prospect of lunch, they seem to be very excited. And they
I make the lunch bell ring.
She begins to like lead the class back inside. Sort of like making eyes at you to follow her if you want.
Yeah. I'll follow if you guys are gonna follow.
Yeah, I'm following.
I assume Freya wants lunch.
Yeah. Now Faye enjoys this. Kids learning. Good.
And so it's like she arranged like a sort of communal eating room, similar to like a cafeteria or something, where they can all sort of get their own food. It's pretty standard, like cheap affair, nothing fancy here. I mean, they're kids, so it's like maybe
sandwich.
Yeah, it's like sandwiches and stuff like that.
Jam roly poly custard.
What kind of sandwiches?
Well, let's see. They would have like a jam ones as well, like peanut butter and jelly sort of things. They also have some with like meats on them as well.
Is it good berry jam?
There's sure, it can be good berry jam, or there's some that have like just like a grilled cheese essentially. There's
Do
like
I have to pick?
There's like a South African version that has like, I forgot what it's called. But they eat it, they cook it, they grill it, but they eat it cold. Like it's like a South African grilled cheese essentially.
Yes.
But they have that there as well. It's like, I think it's onions, grilled cheese, and tomatoes, I think, and they grill it.
That sounds very nice.
And they let it sit out overnight and then they eat it in the morning.
That bit doesn't sound as good.
Anyway, there's that too. But yeah, it's mostly light, cold, or room temperature stuff because it is, like I said, summer and very hot out. No, as far as you can tell, this stuff is free.
I feel like Faye's got like a sack like on her hip of just like dried meats and other stuff. Like some jerky, like some dandelion heads and stuff. Like miscellaneous berries.
Yeah. Vera will say, Freya, I mean, if we do have, I don't want you to break into your own emergency provisions. We do have food here you can eat free of charge. We provide you via tithe money. So feel free to partake in what we have to offer.
Sure, grab a sandwich or something. Go. Again, I just can't help not imagine it's like this line of like 5-year-olds and then just Freya. Like they've all got like lunch, their
little trays.
Plastic trays, yeah.
Yeah. They got their juice or milk boxes.
Yeah. It's like Hulk and like literally anyone else.
but they're
I
like
can't help not imagine
a
Does
lot of the
Freya
that.
sit with
kids-
the kids?
a lot of the kids. Well, yeah, Vera's sort of like you can't leave a number of kids unattended for any amount of time unless they kill themselves. So she is sort of like their teacher and for this like sort of supervisor for lunch until next period, which based on what she has said or intimated to you, another teacher will be coming by to pick them up. So until then, she's sort of overseeing the kids. A lot of them while eating are talking about like magic and stuff, and talking about like what they learned and what the next class is. But some of them seem to be strangely interested in your weapon, Freya.
My greatsword.
Yeah, and they're like looking at it, and like one of them like comes up to it and like she looks back, all these like kids like egging her on. She reaches out, she touches it, and then she runs away.
Kids. Yeah.
She says to that she's like, they may be young, but they can still detect. Some of them can passively detect the presence of strong magic, like what your sword exudes, which is probably why they're so interested in it, Freya. Don't mind them.
That's fine. I'm used to it. Kids used to be fucking They used to be messing around with everything back at the camps. They couldn't look away without losing half your weapons and 2/3 of your lunch. She seems to have like fond memories of that. Like she doesn't normally sound like endearing when talking about like her past life. It seems like to actually enjoy like talking about that.
He says, well, they can be quite a handful, but I find teaching them to be quite rewarding.
Now you'll get them straight soon enough. If anyone will, you will.
So, well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or you just eat the rest of your lunch in sort of a semi-silence? Vera will fill the time talking about like magic stuff.
No, as soon as there's an opening, I wanted to ask her about the dark magic thing or old magic thing.
Jim Dark Magic.
Jim Dark Magic. No, I want to ask. So we were in the library, and I mentioned something about the old magic that you had used previously, and they got very defensive and weird about it.
With that, when you say that, she takes some salt and she makes a semicircle with it on the table. And when she does, everything around you, Rex, sort of fades away. In the sense, like, you can still see everything happening around you, but the information you get via your senses is dimmed greatly. Almost as if she has cast a silence spell, but in a way you don't recognize.
You said dimmed though. Is it actually silent?
Yeah, it's like if you concentrate really, really hard, you can hear what's happening around you. But it is like it's nothing more than a whisper.
What is her body language at this time?
She's looking at you now. She says, "What do you want to know about it?"
Can I hear her clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So the nature of this is essentially she's created like a privacy cone.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, I mentioned something before about wanting to learn how to do what you did, and I honestly was just asking about, I guess, the history of it, and I didn't realize it was kind of a taboo subject. Is this the case?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah. She nods and says, while the Great Library does have books, tomes about the subject, they're not generally available to most people, and they don't really provide you with a lot of knowledge concerning the subject. So if the person you were talking to might have recognized the term and might have recognized it as something to keep secret, but nothing more beyond that.
This is so protected and so taboo. Why are you able to cast it here on this table?
She says, because people don't recognize what I'm doing when I do it.
What would happen if they did?
She's like, this depends on the individual, and like anything, magic is a tool. It depends on how you use it. Old magic is a way to bypass the rules that Mistra set up concerning the use of magic. It comes from a time its use was utilized it was utilized in a time when there was no Mistra.
Okay.
As such, it bypasses her rules for the use of magic, and is why it can be considered, some might consider taboo due to that.
What can I do to learn? Like you and I have discussed learning it specifically in the protection of the chest itself. What can I do to facilitate that?
She says, well, like the current system of magic, there are different spells of old magic you can learn. The one concerning that chest is a warding spell. It temporary, as long as it's the circle is not broken, proper materials are used, it creates a dead magic zone.
I feel like she didn't answer my question.
She is going to elaborate. She says, I can.
I just legitimately said that to figure out if she was intentionally.
Oh, no.
Not answering me, but that's fine.
She says, if you want to learn old magic, you generally have to find a spell book and study the contents within, or have someone teach you. I can teach you certain old magic spells that I know, but it takes time, more time than a normal spell would.
Sure. And if I just wanted to learn more about like the history of the old magic and you know the nature of it. I mean, obviously you and I both studied extensively on the weave and Mistra and all that, but I mean, this is outside of that.
So,
like, if I can't get that information at the library, where can I?
He said you'd have to find a book discussing it, or written about the topic.
Okay.
They're very rare. There's few left.
Okay. Well, I look forward to finding the time.
She says, I do too. It's always nice to find another person who's interested in learning more about the mysteries of magic. And you seem to be a very honest and trustworthy individual, Rex.
I try.
And with that, she smiles, and then she moves her finger through the semicircle of salt, and sort of wipes some of it away. And with that, all of your sort of full senses return to you.
I do have one more question real quick, but I'll cast it in a message only to her. I'm going to say, what would happen if somebody else did what you just did to the salt?
She said if they didn't know the old magic spell, nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Just curious.
All right, so lunch is with that sort of as you guys sort of finish the conversation. The rest of you saw like it looked very weird. You saw Rex and Vera when when Rex mentioned old magic. You saw Vera like pour out some salt and make a semicircle with it, and then they sort of like you saw them glitch a little bit.
Evelyn wasn't paying attention.
Okay, for those that were. Like, almost as if they were suspended in space. Or time, rather. Like, there was just like a brief pause. And then after this, it was like maybe a few seconds. And then where they didn't move, they were looking at each other very intently. And then after that, a few moments passed, they sort of like returned to normal. And then looking down at the semicircle of salt, you can see that there's a line through it and it's broken.
Being that I was affected by this, but with my pretty high passive perception, just the people around us and what they've been doing, would I have detected that changed, like the time change?
You weren't certain because basically what happened is it also got I should explain more clearly. The sound lessened to a point where you could hear it, but you had to concentrate very, very, very hard, and you could just make out the barest whisper. Alongside with that, everything sort of seemed to sort of darken outside of the space between you and Vera.
No, I understand that, but I mean, like let's say we were all sitting around having a meal.
Yeah, so you
And
notice
I just had, like,
everyone's conversations is has progressed farther than you would have, like based on the amount of time you've been in talking with Vera, if it makes sense. Like, for example, say someone was talking about a certain spell. Like the student was talking about how the uses of prestidigitation and what they've learned, what they've accomplished in class, and now they're talking about. Do you see a time where the Tabaxi used animate objects like Miss Vera did, and so it seems like the conversation between these kids has progressed quite rapidly in the time.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. That you. So as lunch ends, another student, at this time a sort of a middle-aged man with a beard and dark hair, comes to the kids, and they respectfully sort of bow to Vera, and then lead to follow this older gentleman. He's also wearing, or rather, Vera wears her like Mistra like gear or her armor and whatnot. This individual's clad in a more traditional, like wizardy robes. She says, well, I have things to do throughout the day, but is there anything else I can do for you guys?
Is there anything else we needed?
I don't think so. Unless you guys want anything.
Evelyn doesn't need anything here.
And then she says, well, thank you for coming to check up on me. I appreciate your concern. It's nice to know I have such good friends. But rest assured, I will. One second. I will use, as I am not properly accustomed to using it to its full extent, I will use Silverfire more sparingly in the future.
It doesn't look like the safest thing to be doing.
Make an Arcana check, Rex, when she says Silverfire. Or a History check. You need a higher than a 13.
Did I hear that? I feel like I bristled at that here.
Yeah. So you can make a Religion check, then. Or Arcana or History. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. Silverfire is you've read about it once in some of the books, like detailing what boons or abilities a deity will often bestow upon their faithful. While you mainly focused on Lathander's abilities, due to just your position and the Order of the Astor. You did read about some other ones. In particular, you remember one that Mystra gave some of her followers, who were known as the Chosen of Mystra. She gave them the ability to sort of conjure or unleash a sort of white magical flame that sort of has sort of been termed Silverfire. And it can do a number of things, but they're all sort of very powerful and miraculous, even. Such as you can vaporize creatures, you can heal injuries, you can sort of purge magical effects on an individual. You can teleport with it. You can just do a whole lot of things with Silverfire.
Good to know.
But you do know it's very rare. With that, she will hug you all once again, and once just sort of do the same thing to 9 more lives.
Evelyn will tell her to get some rest and like really stress it.
Yeah, she sort of nods knowingly, and says, "As much as I can, I will. I promise, as much as I can."
Take the day off if you have to.
So she does seem to take your words at heart, or to heart, but says, "As much as I can, as my duties will allow me to, I will. I promise." And with that, you all depart from the House of Wonder, go back out to Waterdeep. It is now about early to mid-afternoon. Still got plenty of time to kill, as it were. Is there anything in particular you guys would like to do with the rest of the day?
We could investigate the necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could do that. That would you have to wait till. Well, first of all, you did explain everything you know to the party. Avalanche. I don't think they know about that.
They don't know about it, but it's not very much to explain.
What is it again?
Do you remember the necklace of Asmodeus that we got for our job?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we're trying to figure out where the necklace came from.
Mm.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. You have none of this. Evelyn would probably go to a safe place to talk. So either back to like her room in the Lothader's temple or like back to the Yawning Portal rooms.
Yeah, either of the locations would be good.
Yeah. What's closest?
Spires in the morning.
I'll go to the Spires in the morning. Check my mailbox.
Don't have anything yet.
You never know. Like,
you will eventually. I promise.
well, I know. Well, my logic is like, she shows up, see if there's anything they need her to do, goes to her room. Everyone comes with her.
Now you're so basically how the Order of Astor operates is a sort of on a rotation basis. So like your company, as it were, is the one currently stationed in Waterdeep. So like there's just they're like a sort of token force to sort of like reinforce the city guard and the watch for automation protectors and sort of prevent and sort of protect the city. And then once the other person, another company gets back from a crusade, or subjugation of a fiend, or what have you, or you'll rotate out, and then you will be out, and they, as sort of a rest, a time of R&R, they will be stationed in Waterdeep. So there's not really much for you to do while currently.
I think since like Evelyn was so young when she ended up at the temple, she was always like the errand girl. If that makes sense, so she was always sent to go get stuff.
Yeah.
So like she's always checking to make sure they don't need her to go run and fetch a thing from here or there or whatever. So they go to her room and Evelyn goes, okay. Do you think so? At the library, I requested a book. Did any of you catch that?
Say again?
When we were at the library, I requested a book. Did any of you catch that?
About the royal family people.
Mm-hmm.
There's noble people either.
Yes. Do you remember a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, or whatever the time it was in a game, where we did the job for headquarters about the Freya, the necklace? You remember that necklace and headquarters, and they were being butts about it?
Yeah.
Well, that necklace was evil. And Lady Rasnar, the Black Viper, got it from this noble woman's house. And I've come to find out that this noble woman, whatever her name is that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Dazed SDM. Well, gotcha.
Yeah, sure. Umphreys, was going into the field ward often, and that's unusual. Noble people don't go often to the field ward.
You would know this, Evan. It's like the newest, but also like poorest ward of Waterdeep. So it's very strange for a fancy pants rich person to be there, especially an established noble.
Noble people just don't go to the field ward or the dock ward unless they're going on a cruise. Then they go to the dock ward. But the field ward, that's like Freya going into a library. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, we have evidence against that.
It's like Freya actually reading.
Fair enough.
So all I know is that this woman had this necklace from this evil god, and that headquarters wanted it, and it just smelled fishy. No, that's all I know. I'm just kind of looking into it. But that's all I know, right?
Yeah, so as Vela, she was speaking in like abstractly, but she was definitely saying, check out the field ward at night. That Lady Omphres had some sort of she followed her, and or rather you can infer this, but she witnessed just sheer doing something or walking through the field ward at night, which she found strange, and she passed that information along to you.
The Black Viper said that when I saw them last, that this woman was in the field ward at night, and you all have met a noble, yes?
Yeah.
Do they go outside at
Maybe.
nighttime? Typical normals.
Shrugs. Probably not, I'd assume.
That would be correct.
So it's weird.
It's weird.
Just because you want to go see what she's doing?
I mean, we're not doing anything else, right? At least for now.
It's true.
Not until Caxier and Indy get back from whatever adventure they're on. We miss you.
Mm.
No more lives? What do you think? Nighttime adventure? Scale some walls?
That sounds fun.
Might be able to, like, scratch someone for once.
I've scratched people before.
Yes, but not today.
Let's do it.
All right. So you guys wait until nighttime, lounging about, passing time however you wish, before you begin to head towards the field ward.
Did Rex learn prestidigitation while he was at the thing?
Sadly, no.
I'm a little disappointed as Joanna.
I can't. She's already taught Rex spells for free. I can't give him a cantrip as well.
I wasn't going to push it.
I wanted to learn, but I can't have it.
She literally, like, magicked spells just into his spellbook for him. When you were back in Tribor.
I take the opportunity to teach Freya how to read if she wants.
Can
Yeah.
that be done in one session?
Problem is, we can only teach Freya how to read Common. Even though she speaks Elvish, nobody here can teach her how to read Elvish.
But we can teach her the languages we know.
It's
She'll be
true.
the best spoken of us all.
Yeah.
Just DM's out of character or NPC. Vera is a high elf, so she, and being a learned individual, she also probably knows how to read and write Elvish as well.
I would just offer it to Freya if she wanted to.
You know, Faye can speak Goblin. Never come up, but it's my third language.
I speak Undercommon and Halfling.
Fair enough.
Rex speaks Celestial.
It's a strange group. Like, you chose all these languages that are really weird, at least to me.
Yeah.
Backstory reasons, and Undercommon's just cool.
All right.
Pretty
Anyway,
much the same thing.
you guys head toward the field ward. You stay. You're trying to, like, just canvas the field ward because it's a lot of ground to cover at night. So you sort of take the major streets, most notably the Fieldway, which is a large sort of street that sort of runs throughout the Field Ward before it sort of splits off into Chop Street and Gawain Knife Street. But you sort of are walking along that when you begin to hear screams and cries of concern.
Yeah, head over.
All right.
Can we figure out where they're coming from?
Yeah, they're coming from just ahead of you, and you see people like running to their homes, closing them, and like closing the doors and windows, the shutters.
Does anyone run past me?
Some do. Some people do run past you.
Can I grab one and stop one real quick and be like,
Ah!
what's going on?
And he says, "Strange creatures ahead! Run for your lives! They're small, but very evil looking."
Okay, and I let him run, but
And ahead of you, you now see some creatures that
are there
have.
streetlights here?
I'm sorry, what?
Is there a light here?
Yes, there are lights here, but it's not as well lit as the Waterdeep, rest of Waterdeep, but they're still enough to see, to get by on. These small creatures sort of flapping about. They seem to be covered in spikes or spines. They have these leathery wings, and they're carrying what looks to be a trident, but due to their small size, is more like a fork. They look very evil. It's sort of a dark purpley hue to their leathery skin.
How
And
many
they're
are there?
cackling gleefully as they torment people, trying to spike them or stab them with their trident or bite them. You see a total of... 1 second. Total of 4. And then looking even further, next to this sort of statue located in the middle of the fieldway, to some fancy person of Waterdeep, right about right here, you see a rather regal-looking woman, but she's dressed in strange clothes, and she's speaking in a language you don't understand, I don't think, but it's very harsh and to your ears. Does anyone speak Infernal?
Negative.
No. But the second I hear a language I don't understand and all this going down, can I cast comprehend languages?
Yes. So you hear these words being translated. She says, "Yes, yes, get them, my pretties. This has taken far too long. What are those fools thinking? I will be the new favorite of our Lord Asmodeus."
I think our noble is up ahead, guys. She's chanting to Asmodeus at the moment.
Evelyn just shakes her head.
How far away is she?
I will show you. 1 second, please. I got a lot of stuff to do with. Okay. Boom. That's what you guys see.
Spined?
So,
Devil.
well, you don't know they're spine devils, but you guys, none of you have made a check. But they're just small creatures that are stabby things. Let's see who's actually here.
They're flying, but they're what? Like the size of a cat?
Yeah, they're small creatures.
Okay.
Wait, they're as big as 9 more lives?
She's not a cat.
Who should have full health points because we had a long rest. They're
Yeah,
things that are the size of cats that are flying.
Oh man, I just realized that with Freya's sword, she might one-shot all these fools. But hey.
Yay, Freya!
Yay.
Oh well, let's do it. Okay.
Freya can one-shot anything if she tries hard enough.
Alright, let's do... Oh, wait, I gotta get this other character out. Okay. Alright, gotta get all my tabs in order. But yeah, that's what you guys see. I would like
Are there
everyone...
any, did we see guards running around?
You don't see any guards at the moment. Like, everyone's to roll initiative. Make sure to click your bro token first, or lady token.
Order the Aster question.
Oh,
Freya, no, you too.
I see it one on that one.
Do the Order of the Aster members patrol Waterdeep? Like, do I have authority if I'm walking around to like stop stuff?
Yeah. As you're sort of garrisoned here, if you clearly recognize those fiends, but you don't recognize which ones. In particular.
It's actually a good question though for like the Order of Watchful Mages. Would I be in a similar boat?
Yeah, this person is using summoning or conjuration magic. You think the only way to get this large number of devils in one space, generally speaking, is to conjure them up. So they're pretty much using magic for nefarious purposes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But if this is in fact, you don't really have a description of Digier Umbres, but if this is in fact she is a noble still. So
I'm pretty sure vigilante justice is firing Waterdeep if they're summoning demons and devils in the middle.
all right, and so as you guys sort of approach, Digier looks at you, points her finger, and says in Infernal, "Get them, my witties!" And you guys
We do not have a dog.
Can now act. Or 9 more lives can now act, rather.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks.
I would like to jump on top of this roof.
Alright, give me an acrobatics check, please. Or rather, do you have a climbing speed as a tabaxi?
Yeah, 30 feet.
What was that?
30 foot climbing speed, I believe, is the back.
20 feet. So yeah, that'll let you, you can just get to the top. Alright, you can get to the top and go like, yeah, that's fine.
I will go first. Find Devil 3.
Alright,
I doubt
that does hit. But the arrow fails to penetrate too deeply into its leathery flesh, but seems to squawk in surprise and now looks like it's about to flap up there and start poking you.
No.
Alright. What is this? Okay. Alright, she says, "You fools dare to offer resistance!" And she looks at you, 9 more lives, and says, "Don't move and let them have their pound of flesh." And I need you to make... She casts Hold Person on you, so let me make a Wisdom saving throw. Oh no.
Ew.
Fuck.
You are paralyzed. 9 more lives. Spine Devil 2 is going, seeing this, will gleefully flap on over there. Actually, he can only get he can go 8, I think. 40 feet, yeah. Yeah, he can go here. So he has going to try to... so he's got this long old tail. He's going to whip it at you like a porcupine does. But I know porcupines don't actually shoot their spines out, but it's a similar action. And a spine will fly out and attempt to stab at you. I got a 15 to hit.
That misses.
Okay. Just soars on by. He seemed very frustrated. In fact, he literally could not hit a stationary target.
From like 10 feet away.
Spine Devil 3, also in a similar situation. 1, 2, 3. He's going to stab you with this. Oh, sorry, he has 2 attacks. It would attack again then. My apologies. The first one. He's going to try again. With feeling. Oh, he got an 8. Man, he sucks. Okay. Going by. He's going to try to stab you. He's going to try to bite you and then poke you with his trident. So, bite. 21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Because you are paralyzed, every hit against you is a critical. So, it is a double damage.
Holy shit.
So his bite does 16 slashing. And he's going to try to stab you. 22 to hit.
This is fine.
Yeah.
That does 10 piercing.
Ooh.
This is fine.
And then he's going to fly away from your unconscious form. You're beginning to slide down the roof, though. Freya.
I'm going to head over to this guy. Like, can I reach this guy if I could go here?
Yes, 6 movement.
Yeah, then I'm going to use my magic sword. I'm going to rage and reckless attack.
And also, because they are from a different plane of existence,
Yeah.
you had the d6 as well. Like I said, you're probably going to one-shot these boys. Yep, it's dead. Even without the d6, it died.
Jesus.
So you just,
Look at
it's
that
like
pretty
a
dude.
like you just carve him in 2.
Is that necrotic force damage automatic, or is that something you can choose to add on?
I can choose to add all of that.
Gotcha.
Oh, you already added it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, as part of the additional damage.
What I mean is, can you do that on every swing, or is that like a...
Every swing, I believe.
The Purge You Unclean is only against creatures not native to this plane. I think I changed it again, Freya, so it should only be 1d6, not 2d6. But let me check and
I've
see.
just changed that on my
Okay.
sheet now.
Yeah. But essentially, yeah, the Purge You Unclean only happens against fiends, celestials, fae, elementals, and aberrations, I think. So, creatures, like I said, not native to the prime material, which a fiend definitely is, so it just is murdered. Rex, your turn.
Yeah, seeing 9 more lives go down, what I would like to do... Oops, that's not the right clicker. Can I see these guys? I probably need to move back, like under this awning, maybe. I'm underneath.
You can see...
Can I see these, the 2 on the roof?
No, you can't see them.
Okay. That's who I want to see.
So if you like here, you go to see them.
Yeah, I didn't want to get that far out. Yeah, I'll do that. And then, can I see them now?
Yep.
Okay. And I will cast Magic missile at 2nd level, and I'll hit them both with 2.
Missile.
All right. Oh, we can't crit, but you know. So the
So
first one.
that's 4 damage to one and 5 damage to the other. And mouse
The
just
tiny
died.
bodies shake, but they sort of dip a little bit in their flight, but they sort of regain. Their wings flap furiously, and they sort of regain their or recover their position.
Sure.
4 is just straight dead, so yeah, he doesn't get a turn. Evelyn. 9 more lives is beginning to slide off this roof.
Oh no.
I can't catch 9 more lives.
What's that?
You're beginning to
So
slide off this
I
roof.
I can't catch you from sliding off this roof, but I can heal you.
If she falls, she will probably take 1d6 damage.
Which should be 2 death saves.
But what happens
But
if
I'm healing 9 more lives.
if she's healed first?
Then
She'll
yeah,
land on her feet.
she'll get on her feet. Yes, something needs to be done to help 9 more lives. Otherwise, she will fail some death saves automatically. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I was already on top of healing 9 more lives. That's
An additional healing as well, right?
3 more points.
Live clerics, man. You have 15 HP back. 9 more lives.
Yeah. Plus,
Did you say 15?
Yeah. Now,
no, 16. It's 16. It's a 2nd level spell.
okay. So here's the question: does whole person go away when you fall unconscious? Is a thing.
I don't know.
It's generally seen that they cancel the spell once you're unconscious.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it goes away, but generally it's assumed that the person cancels concentration or just cancels the spell.
Yeah. I think if you have cast it on yourself and the concentration spell it ends, but you didn't. But it's Jashira has cast it and she has not dropped it yet. So
I would argue that she's still held up on the roof then.
yeah, then she wouldn't have been falling. My apologies. So she would have kind of slumped down a little bit, but the whole person would have kept her upright.
And 9 more lives can also make wisdom saving throws.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of her turn. Spine level 1 is going to flap on over to Freya. Try to engage you as it saw what you just murdered its brethren.
So
Has advantage.
spine level 1 is not smart.
No.
He's trying to. You think he's trying to protect Jashir. But anyway, he's going to run on over. He has advantage against you. Going to try to same thing, bite and fork you.
Hey, do I get an action?
Oh, I'm sorry. You do. I always forget healing word is a bonus action. Go ahead. Yes, you have movement too.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm moving closer yet.
You can toll the dead, sacred flame.
I only have Toll the Dead. I will told the dead on Gaishir though.
That's a wisdom saving throw. Oof. Got a 3. Oh, she hasn't been damaged. It's only 2 though. Lucky.
2 damage is enough to break a concentration spell.
Oh, that's true. She needs to pick a Constitution saving throw. DC 10. She had a 4.
Hey!
Now our life is no longer paralyzed.
Yeah.
You can move now. You swore you passed out there for a second, but looking back around you, you seem to be fine. It's your turn. Actually, sorry, it's Spine Devil's turn. He's gonna go stab Freya. Bite and fork with advantage. Bite 20 to hit.
Yep.
Did you rage?
Yes.
You did. You would have. This is 1 slashing to you.
Oh no.
And the fork 16 to hit.
AC 16.
Okay, so this hits. There's another one piercing to you.
Oh no.
They rolled ones on both of their both of the damages because he's a little shit. Okay. 9 more lives. You are back conscious. You can move now, so that's cool. See 2 devils already cackling, slightly weirded out by the fact that you should have died but didn't. That hits. Once again, you manage to like almost skewer a Spine Devil, but your weapon sort of is like you only do a glancing blow instead.
So I'm going to use a cantrip before, disengaging will. Disengaging is a bonus action.
Yes. A cantrip is also an action. You already tackle your rapier.
I'm going to disengage, but I'm going to disengage and go closer to my friends.
Okay.
End turn.
All right. So Aveline, next to you, a giant, like you could swear for some reason, it's a ruby rod appears next to you and tries to bludgeon you.
Great.
She is casting the spiritual weapon. But she rolled a 4 because apparently she can't roll higher than a 5. So that's cool.
Do I recognize that as a spiritual weapon?
Yes. She was very frustrated with that she can't hit fucking anything. And is going to try to burn you with Sacred Flame. Dear God.
Missed again.
No, she has to make a DC 11 dex save to do a whopping 2. This is it's like a dark light instead of a bright light.
Imagine if you were a dark light.
She can't. Well, she can miss this one because. Okay. Yes.
I have no dex, guys. I am not Swift.
Yes. Just similar to how you did 2 necrotic damage to her, she did 2 radiant damage to you.
I mean, it's fine. Can she reach me, actually? 60 feet.
60 feet.
Yeah. It's 60 exact.
Alright. Spine Devil 2 is going to flap on down 9 more lives. You just stabbed it. It wants another go at you. Bite and fork. Not with advantage. 12 to hit, misses. 18 to hit with the fork.
That hits.
5 piercing. And then Spine Devil 3 is going to flap on down to Rex. I'm going to engage him as well. Bite and fork attack. Now. 17 to hit with the bite. Rex, you there?
It will hit. I'm sorry, I have my mic up on mute mode.
Oof.
Okay, so the bite. Oh my God. 3 slashing. Once again, rolling all ones. And the fork, the 11 to hit, which probably misses you.
That will miss.
Yep. So they are failing their way to death. So, hey, This encounter was supposed to be a little bit harder, but that's the way it goes. Freya.
More mincemeat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's dead.
Oh shit.
And then I'm gonna move here.
Now, did you Great Weapon Master?
No, that was just a normal bonk.
Okay. So I was asking because if you had, you could have attacked again. Your bonus action.
No, just a normal hit.
All right.
Is she
Right.
still shouting in
Yeah.
Common Poindexter?
Let's try. Can I? Can I use a bonus action to make a check on the Spine Devils, and to see what I know, like if fire would hurt them?
Yeah. So yeah, you can give me. This will be an Arcana check. You're not certain.
Okay. I will simply use another level 2 magic missile, and I will hit the one in front of me 4 times.
Third one kills it.
Okay. If I can, I'll send the
Yep.
last one over to the one next to 9 more lives.
That one's max damage for that. So.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll go right there.
With that one, and she's like, stop killing them! No! Evelyn,
Yes.
it's your turn.
Rex, what'd you do?
He killed Spine Devil 3.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
damaged 1.
I'm gonna cast.
Which one's left? 2. There.
Okay. Should I waste my second level spell to cast silence on this girl?
I am right next to her.
It's not going to affect you.
Well, it'll affect Freya, but it won't. It just means Freya can't talk or hear.
Yeah, it's not going to negatively affect her for fighting.
Yeah.
DM question.
Yeah.
When I move my spiritual weapon, how do I do that? Like, is that a verbal thing?
Let me see. Let me look at the spell.
It doesn't say on the spell. The spell says verbal somatic, but like it just says you can move it.
I would say. I would say once you cast it, you can move it sort of telepathically.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay, I get to cast silence on her.
Trying to make this shape here.
And then I'm going 30 feet away from the spiritual weapon. Where is that spiritual weapon, by the way?
It's next to you. I'll draw it 1 second.
So for all of a sudden, you can't talk
It's right there.
You can't talk. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And you can't hear.
I'm aware how spell works.
I'm gonna take that.
So I know it says it is a sphere, but it's generally easier to show.
I moved there.
Did I do it right? Yeah. Ooh, just for the squares to show where it's silenced. I think I got counter right, did I? Yeah. Yeah, I did. So it's like that, I'm assuming, because you probably want Rex out of it.
Yes.
Okay. You can hear her, you can see her speaking, but no sound is coming out, Freya. But when she notices this, she just glares daggers of hate at you instead. Which will be followed by an actual dagger soon.
Ow. Pardon me.
9 more lives.
Hey, DM.
Yes.
That Spine Devil would have had an opportunity attack on me if you wanted to take it.
Oh, yeah. He probably would have. He would have used his tail. Whooshah! 12 to hit. Miss. Man, these guys suck.
Okay. I just want to give you the option.
Okay. I was too busy drawing a square. Oh, Lord. Yeah. It did.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, bless the Lord.
So, before, you've had a hell of a time trying to hit these things. Nothing seemed to go your way. Your arrow sort of like would bounce off its flesh. Your glancing dealt the glancing with your rapier. This time, as it's squawking to you, you just stab it right through its tiny little head, and it dies.
That's better.
Hmm.
I will go here. End turn.
How far can you move spiritual weapon? 20 feet.
Which is why I moved 30.
So damn. So she can get here. Well, she can get it here, right? Yeah, she can get it here.
I was there.
Yeah.
It was here.
So she can reach you, right? Where was it again?
I was here.
It was here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she will take a swing at you. What? She's been sucking.
I moved 30 feet away. So there's 5 foot.
Okay, so
I
it'll
think
be.
he's saying you passed it, though. You know what I mean?
Yes. Logic. Yes, but I would have been moved 25 feet past it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but diagonals make up for that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
If what you said is correct, then it can get here in 20 feet. I'm not trying to break the game or anything.
I know.
I honestly don't remember where it was.
I know, and I purposely moved 30 feet to do it. I'll take the attack. I don't care. I'm just letting you know. You do you. If it hits, it hits. I don't care.
18.
I'm not. Yeah, I honestly don't remember because I was busy all these square drawings and stuff.
I also don't remember. So let's just take. I'll just take 5 damage.
Okay. 5 force Constitution saving throw. 10 or higher. You got it.
I have advantage.
Yeah, Warcaster, you got advantage. You should definitely have it in the bag then. Yep. Ooh,
Thank God I had advantage.
luckily the advantage. So yes, silence is maintained. She tries to stab you, Freya. But she doesn't seem to be particularly adept with a knife, or adept with a knife. She's still coming in with 2 quick strikes. Did you reckless attack?
Yes.
Okay. She'll have advantage against you. Oh no.
Oh no.
God damn it, Freya.
Then she critically failed. With both! Wow, okay. But so you take 3 piercing.
Oh no.
Oh no. That's her turn. All the spine devils are dead.
Can I just try and grab her?
On your
Just like
turn?
bear hug around the elbows.
On your turn? It is your
It
turn.
was her turn.
It's my go
I
after hers.
accidentally skipped yours, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Give me a grapple check.
Which athletics?
Yes, contested athletics. She can do acrobatics as well, but she's not good either. But her acrobatics is slightly better, so she will try to break out. You also have advantage on this because you're raging.
Yeah.
She got a 5. So yes, she is now grappled by you. You got her.
I'm just like around the elbows.
She's like shaking, trying to break free, but it's like trying to punch a solid stone wall. It's not working.
Yeah. I just kind of walk her back towards the rest of the party. I'll stand so like I'm outside, but she's inside.
So the silence is cast on her.
Okay.
Well, that was a point within range, but we'll look it up.
Yeah, you can cast it on people, but it's a point within range.
Yeah.
My range is 120 feet.
I don't think it moves within the sphere. It's not like light. It says a point within range.
Yes, the person was the point.
It was cast on her, so yeah.
Okay. Jeremy Crawford says center on point in space, not a creature or object.
Okay.
Damn you, Crawford.
It doesn't say that though.
Yeah.
I mean, I can link you what Crawford said.
No, I believe what Crawford said. I'm just saying.
I'm not trying to, like,
I'm just saying. I read my spell.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why people like tweet him and he tweets back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
raw
no, Crawford's
you can.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, then I would have dropped it on her dagger.
I mean, you can still keep her in it. Like, you can just.
He's saying it doesn't. You can't put it on something.
You can't.
That can
It's
move.
literally
just
you
affecting
choose a
the
point.
area.
It's like Fireball. You don't cast it on a person. You cast it on. Like, I want it to happen there.
That
And it
makes it
happens.
so much less fun. I'm just saying. Not your
Yeah.
fault. I'm just.
I agree with you.
You
It
should
was
just
such a
cast
cool
it.
idea.
It makes it too OP though. Is the thing.
Yeah, as a GM, I
you can
cast
literally
it.
prevent a spellcaster from ever casting a spell and just shut down a big bad instantly with no
Yeah.
chance of him doing anything.
Fun,
That's probably why they
wouldn't
said no.
Yeah, if it's cast on like that, I'll just kind of position so I'm stood outside it and she's still held inside.
Yeah. So let's say you move here. You're still like when she's in here.
Yeah.
And she's like blah blah, and then from the south, as you sort of decide on what to do with this year, you see a group of guards running up, huffing and puffing, mages or robed individuals behind them, and they're saying, "What's going on? What's happening here?" And then when they step to your silence, they're like, "Whoop, whoop."
That's actually a lot better.
And they're just not, and then they're speaking, and when they notice that nothing's happening. One of the mages outside on the tail end casts Dispel Magic and removes the silence.
Oh, but now we've got to listen to her rambling on about everything.
She's just like crying. She's speaking in common. She's like, "My babies, no."
Yeah, like when the spell was up, like we just put her inside and we didn't have to listen to all this.
But a bunch of these like guards and mages are now like arrayed before you in sort of like a semicircle. So technically you're out of you are out of initiative, but they're like
As soon as I can hear her voice again, can I cast Hold Person on her?
they're like right here. And as soon as you move to do the spell, they say, the guard says, no spell casting in front of us, if you please. What's going on here exactly?
I'll put my hand towards one of the spine devils and point at her. She summoned these, and we killed them.
So he's looking. He is looking at each of you to sort of judge what you said. They do note the spine devils, and one of the mages is going over to one of them and inspecting them. And some of the guards come forward to take away Jashir, and they say, "Wait, I recognize this one." And
His sword is like on the floor, thinking about it.
he's like, "What's a fancy pants nibble like yourself dabbling in devil worship for?" And then she goes on this spiel about Lord Asmodeus has chosen me. I will enact his will. I'm the prime material. And he goes, right. That's enough out of you. If you're so pleased. He's like, if you'll kindly. And then one of the mages does, in fact, cast Whole Person on her. And she's like, I will enact his bleh. And then she sort of freezes up. And then the guards sort of like carry her away as you would a rug.
They'll just kind of let go of her, pick up my sword.
Yeah. They
like,
carry her.
Wipe the blood off.
They're little like underarm as you would a rug carrying her out. And her like, the watch thanks you for your service. And then he says, thank you for restraining yourselves from doing any irreparable damage to the lady there. It would have been a lot of hassle and paperwork.
Yeah, I figured someone would want to talk to her. So I figured it would probably better just to like grab her and wait until someone turned up. Or question her ourselves. She had that weird necklace thing that the boss wanted. The Asmodeus symbol.
Oh, that business about Asmodeus. Well, I am not well versed in such matters, so I will defer to my colleague here. And a mage steps up. It's a typical mage, older gentleman, with some glasses on that seem to reflect the torchlight that's illuminating the place. He sort of taps his staff in the hand and says, yes, well, devil worship isn't illegal in Waterdeep per se, but summoning fiends in order to disturb the peace is. However, status of noble complicates things. We will take care of this matter. Have no fear. And then with that, he says, the guy says, quite. Well, thank you for your help. And then he gives you a pouch. He says, the city has given me a certain amount of funds that I'm able to use as I see fit in order to reward people for outstanding bravery or if they assist the watch. Here. And it's a pouch containing 300 gold pieces.
I'll pass it back on to 9 more lives.
Boy, this is going to be a big headache, he says as he sort of walks away shaking his head. Why did I have to pull a night shift?
So that was fun.
Yeah.
With that, you guys head back to the Yawning Portal for a well-deserved rest. And with the extra 300 GP, you are also now level 5. And with that, we will
Level 5?
we will end the session.
Oh shit.
Level 5.
It's not like next session there's gonna be a ton of combat to let you try out your next, your new level 5 abilities, but you know.
You're gonna make me pick spells? Oh no.
No. I just know all the spells. Just which ones do I want to prepare? No, this is why you always average. Anyway, we'll see you guys, the watchers, the viewers, next week. Players as well. We're gonna stay a bit. Do some table talk, which is not streamed or recorded. But thank you guys for playing, and for if any had any viewers, thank you for watching. See you guys next week. I'll upload this to YouTube ASAP. Alright, see you guys next week.